Well, I've had 3 swigs of my Diet Coke here, so that's enough. And push our way on through back here, and geez, that Heightening almost could be like a piece of sphagnum, couldn't it? You know, a bit of dried sphagnum by the looks of it, but it's not. It's Heightening. But as I said before, it's almost like the Heightening has taken over the role of sphagnum in this southern part of Australia to a certain extent or degree. Oh, cling on. Oh, it's nice and damp and wet out here. Oh yes, you could definitely get something surviving. Well, I know we've got Ulrich there, a branching one, but what I mean is you could definitely have more Ulrichs over there. Well, I think we got here at the right time for the sunnage. Anyway, oh, got lightheaded again. Need to go home and have a steak. No, I mean a edible steak. Okay. Oh, hang on. I pushed on through to the. Oh no, I want to go out here. Oh, more wonders. Well, the soil is spongy underfoot, and it's still fairly. Oh, something else coming up here. Oh, it's one of those other orchids, isn't it? One of those non-native ones. Oh. Yeah, getting light-headed again. I've still got a cling on here somewhere. Oh, better. Oh, and there we go. We got a little running postman there. Oh. There's our fern starting to go into dormancy, and see that will remain in that sort of erect state until we get to those heavy rains that we had a little bit earlier this year. Remember in that clip? And it absolutely pissed down out of the other side. But yeah, I think that's it, fellas. If we just look for any of those sundews that were growing on here, they should probably be black and dormant now, aren't they? The tuberous ones, I can't see them here, they're not obvious, so, unless they've been ripped out of the ground by unscrupulous operators. Oh no, here we go. Oh yeah, they're on the John Wayne. Yeah, look at that. They're very small though. Nothing else, no pygmy. It's been such a, oh look at that. Oh, that's a, oh, there you go. The last rays of the sun on with our first daylight saving. Oh, you can see all the insects in that one. Hang on, seed in there. Ready to go. I've got tons of seed at home, fellas, don't worry, from previous seasons. I mean, Gideon's saying, you know, oh, when are these seeds going to germinate? I said, well, you don't stop fucking about with them, just rubbing off their seed coats and putting smoke water on them and all that sort of crap. I just told you, put them out in some heavy pounding rain for 48 hours. Yeah, if you've had them in the pot for a while, they'll stick to the soil and you won't lose any of them. Heavy pounding rain, and maybe put a little bit of groundnut wax in some of the pots, you know, as long as it doesn't get hot enough to melt the wax, you'll be right. So that's candle wax ground up in a bit. Heavy pounding rain, and they should germinate within 48 hours sort of thing, you know what I mean? Like you have the pounding rain, and you know, for 2 nights of heavy pounding rain, and the next day you can go out and seed seedlings. That's what I'm saying. Lots of seedlings. You know, straight after the rain. So if they've sat in the pot, damp, you know, and the nights have gone down to, you know, the magic 8 degrees, heavy pounding rain for 48 hours, and directly after that rain you should be able to see seedlings, you know. None of this smoke water scratching the surface. I told you that, but if you want to do all that, I gave you enough seed to do your own experiments, but you know, I've got video clips of, I've even got a clip in the locker of hundreds of seedlings that are germinated after the heavy rain that we had, you know, like I filmed it a day before, then we have the heavy pounding rain, and then you've got, you know, I've got nearly 1,000 seedlings just sitting there in pots after pots after pots, you know. That's on VHS, that's in the lockup, but I'll get to that eventually, hopefully, after all this building work has been done. And but I assume it's not going to be until next year now, because it's just getting too hot. So my son reckons the place is air conditioned. I'm thinking maybe it is. No, maybe it is air conditioned now, but in the past when we first started off, I don't think it was. I've also noticed there's a lockup, the same company, closer to home, so there may be the excuse of moving the stuff closer to home will be an excuse to go through the lockup. I don't know, but I would like to get to the other box of cassettes, to those two other clips from 2004 in the the year I took off because my partner got cancer, sort of thing, and that sort of basically curtailed my going down and seeing Donnie, sort of thing. I think I did 4 clips that year only, and 2 I've uploaded, and there's 2 showing his cephaloders getting a little bit bigger and better, and that was about it for 2004. And the rest of the year was doing all that basic salt work, you know, soul destroying, back baking work. But I'm glad I did it, because, you know, I did go round after that for 10 years in circles like everyone else does, you know, but I've come up to now a soil that fixes nitrogen in the atmosphere, and we've come up to some other basic error in plant physiology, ecology, that, you know, they got onto the wrong thing first up, and they either didn't realise, or everything had gone into the books, you know. All the basic books had the stuff in, and it was just too hard to rewrite everything, I reckon. Could have been a case of that, and no one wanted to, the trader left the station basically, and it was there was somebody run out of the thing and said, wait, oh fuck, it's already left the station. It was a case of that sort of thing, you know. It was, you know, you can't. The station telegraph was such in a poor state back then that you couldn't telegraph the station head and say, stop, come back, you've made a fundamental error, you know. It's just that basically CPs were the only plants that were going to basically, you know, show that, you know, because I did all this reading in the late 90s, you see, and all these papers are making these statements, and it's just plain wrong, because if you go down that pathway, your plants die and don't grow, and yeah, it's just plain wrong. And you can't grow rhubarb, you see. And if you notice, all the great people who've got into CP commercially, they will always come through the back door of those sort of plants, you see. So if you can grow rhubarb and it's not sauerkraut, whatever the other thing is, and asparagus and all that thing, all these plants that they say do better if you have a little bit of salt in the soil. If you put a tablespoon of salt in a watering can and put that over the soil, the plants grow much better. Now your task, should you choose to accept it, is to work out why that does that, and why does, you know, a little bit of salt in the water in the bucket, sprinkle over the soil, it gives you so much improved growth. You know, it's almost like turning gutless sand into gutful sand, sort of thing. You know, what is it? What's in it, and what does it do? You know, sort of thing. It's just sodium chloride, isn't it? Hint, hint. Yeah. So anyway, a few surprises along the way, and I'm just going to work tinker on the soil, and I think, you know, watch out for 2015. That's all I can say. Is yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the sterility part of the tissue culture. I've still got jars that are totally sterile. So what I have found is there's stuff inside the plants which is growing out, and because it's growing out from the plant, and the chemicals that are in the agar aren't in the plant, it can't get in there to kill the whatever it is that's in the plant. So it's going to be a case of chopping them up into smaller and smaller pieces, getting them to grow out, and then slowly edging your way away from the bit that's got the thing, if you can do that, or smashing up the cells so you can separate them, filter them out from whatever the contaminant is, and then have the cells growing in your thing, which maybe have to dilute the formula down by 1/2 or something, so it's not so aggressive, and you can actually have living cells in there in a self-sterilizing situation. Whether we can get to that stage, I don't know, but as I said, I've got to the stage now. I've just make it up, and the jars stay sterile now. It's just the problem is I've got things growing out from the big chunky bits. Even the root looks really good until things start growing out of the root. It's not that I can't decontaminate the root from the outside. I've got stuff in the root that's coming out, and so that may be a case of just dicing and slicing the root into small enough pieces where we just miss that bit of the contaminant, you know. It's like it's growing in a particular zone of that chunky root, and if you're careful, you can just chop it out, and you know the jar that has the bit in it will contaminate and grow out from that. And the jar, this jar's got one, and you're just lucky you've missed it, and you've got one that's sterile, sort of thing, you know. And will grow, sort of thing. But that's all work in the future. But we've got to the stage where we can actually make things sterile now with the formula in the jar. So I mean that's not bad for 6 months' work. So things are looking up. And as I said, we've got this basic soil now that fixes nitrogen there. It allows us to grow rhubarb. We're probably going to go and do Rumex, and then probably try and do Gunnerum, because as I said, you get these lovely Gunner in the shop, and suddenly I was talking to some bloke the other year, and when was that? It could have even been 2010 if I was on. I've got it date stamped on the JPEGs anyway. So, and yeah, we were talking, say we were just here a week ago and they look absolutely fabulous. Now they look terrible. I think we know why they look terrible now. So you know. Yeah, so we should be able to actually take them and grow them, and maybe even dice and slice them and all that sort of stuff, and get big chunks of leaves, and you know, get the cyanophyta growing and all that sort of stuff. I feel that's what's going to be happening in 2015, sort of thing. It's you know, things are going to start happening very rapidly now, because we've got the theory, we've got a basic soil that's got the basic nuts and bolts, and we're just going to improve, put the polish on it, basically, improve it up, you know. Yeah, we've got the skeleton, the structure, and we're just gonna, you know, and this card's gonna run out, and it's gonna quite a gas bag, so you're probably gonna miss the walkout. So, but you've seen it before, haven't you? You saw it early on in the year, so you don't need to. So maybe that's the way. We just run out the car with this gas bag. But yeah, 2015 looks all right, I reckon, and yeah, I think we're gonna go places.